Hey, welcome. So we're getting ready to start. Dean had another opportunity to talk with me today. So many kudos to Dean. He's not only the designer of the game, but he's been very invested in this video series and has provided valuable feedback. Some things I just never knew, and so he helped me to understand the rules better. Like, for example, the campaign goes a whole month longer than I thought it did. So all of my scores have an asterisk now, even when I play off camera. And then some things, I have to confess, I still have a first edition rulebook, and multiple people, Dean himself, have asked me to get the second edition out. And I have been one of those stubborn fools who hasn't done it yet. A large part of it is because then I have to read a new rulebook. And I know where the sections are in this one, so I can quickly look stuff up. I think, just from a video making perspective, it makes me nervous to have a new one out and then I'm stuck fumbling around. But at the same time, you guys are pointing out things that are in the new rulebook that I didn't know was there. So it's been a little bit of both, right? My apologies on that. And I need to get like a PDF downloaded of it. And I would have it on a device, but as you know, I'm using my device to record, so it's still a little bit awkward for me. But anyways, nothing to belabor there. The first campaign went fairly well. We did make some mistakes. We corrected almost all of them as we went. However, there were a few, like for example, when the campaign ends was one, when the factories repair was another. And then Dean pointed out a third one, the bomber wings. The bomber wings are something that I didn't do 100% correctly in the first campaign. So we're going to try that variant again. Dean gave me some instruction. I'll explain it as we go. But the big thing is that I had individual bombers that weren't in a wing at all. He told me I'm not allowed to do that. I have to rearrange so I'm always in bomber wings. And then he said that for the purposes of replenishment, the fighters are in their own wing. So for example, if I give 2 replenishment points to one bomber wing, I have to give 2 to each of the other bomber wings. Well, that means the fighter wings get 2 of them as well. And so I can't give a third one to a particular bomber wing until everybody else has gotten at least 2. And as you may recall in the first campaign, if you watched it, I never repaired my fighters. They were the last things. I just let them stay damaged. It was a trick I did, and apparently in this variant, I'm not allowed to do that trick. So that's something we're going to have to be mindful of. I never played with this variant before. That was my very first time. I will confess to you, I'm not a big fan of it. It's painful. That's the only reason I'm not a fan. I just don't like it. But it does make the game more challenging, and so for that reason, I'm going to do it. I'm playing with all the challenges on in this game, so let's see what we can do. I mean, that's the gauntlet's been thrown, and that's basically my thoughts on the matter. I don't mind the challenge. Just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean I'm going to tantrum about it and just not do it. But so with that said, let's get going here. Did he correct a few other things? I know he did. Oh, yes. The incendiary bombs do 1 damage. In the entire last campaign, I said they don't do any damage. I was wrong. So that's another one. That will be corrected in this campaign. I tried to update video 1 of the last campaign with all these notes, but I know some of you have been watching my videos as quickly as I'm recording them, and you may have missed those comments. So that's why I have them here. Okay, so let's jump in. We got to finish some of the key pieces of setup. For example, we got to get those Luftwaffe squadrons assigned. We have submarines we need to deploy. Hopefully none of them deploy, but we may have to. We have veteran FW-190s and noob FW190s because it's 1944. In 42, we had nothing but veterans we were adding to the cup. Now we have veterans and noobs. So the tide is turning, if you will. Some aspects of this game got harder, but this aspect of the game actually got easier. Okay, as far as our sheet, we had 124 SO points for this campaign. Now you might be wondering, hold on a second, this is only 100 SO points. That is true, but with all the variants, it adds another 24. So we have 124 when you add all the variants that we're playing with. So that did give us some extras, but let me tell you that adding the variants costs you more than it gets you. We spent 16 points just in recon planes alone. So this was 16 of my points right here. So out of those 24, I only have 8 left after buying those 2 recon planes. So that didn't do much for me, to be quite honest. What do I got? I wrote it down on the sheet here, and I tried to write it based on the bomber wings. Since we always have to have bomber wings, I set up 2 bomber wings of 2. And Dean did admit to me that I'm running into scenarios that he didn't put into the rules for bomber wings. So for example, what if I buy another one? Then you might say, well, you just have to add it to one of the bomber wings you already have. That's great. But now I bought another one. Can I now split it off so I can have 4 bomber wings of 2? And so for this campaign, none of that's defined in the rules. What if I have a bomber wing that has 4 planes in it? And then I buy a 5th one. I'm not allowed to have more than 4 in a bomber wing, and I'm not allowed to have one by himself. So what do I do in that situation? I have to break up this bomber wing that has 4. I have to break it up into like a 3 and a 2, right? I have to. But the rules don't allow that, or it doesn't accommodate that situation. So that's the kind of stuff Dean and I have been talking about, and he's aware of it. He's going to try to address it. So for the purposes of this campaign, I have to make a decision. So what I'm deciding to do is at the beginning of the week, I can rearrange my bomber wings, but only if I bought a new bomber group, okay? So if I didn't buy a new bomber group, I'm not rearranging my wings. And so I'm sticking with them the way they are, okay? And then, of course, the fighter wings are their own thing. But so that's the rule we're going to move forward with, is that if I buy a new bomber group, that lets me move stuff around. And I have to make that decision right at the start, right when I'm spending the SO points, okay? Before I select what my targets are. Okay, so with that said, here is what we got. I actually wrote it on a sheet here. I spent 16 points on recon. I spent 18 times 3 for B-24s, so I bought 3 of them. I spent 28 points on the Super Fortress, the B-29, for a total of 98. And then I spent 15 on a Mustang. That puts me to 113. And then I spent 3 for a Commander for the Mustang. That puts me to 116. So I'm going to have 8 points left. That's how we're going to start this. So, so I started with 124, and I'm going to spend 116, and I'm going to have 8 points left. Oops, didn't mean to drop that. Okay, so here was my next dilemma. The rules don't explain what to do here. Your groups need to have this distribution, okay? And then you can see there that with the asterisk, if I hire additional groups, they're all going to be green. So 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 of them. I only hired 5 planes. I only purchased 5 bomber groups. So, and fighter groups. So what I did was I made an executive decision that I don't need to have a recruit then, because I can have them be any of these. So why would I ever have a recruit? I'm just going to do 2, 1, 1, 1. Now, if I bought another one, it would had to have been a recruit, or one of them would have had to been. But that's not what I did. So I only bought 5 groups, so therefore I filled in the 5 best positions. Okay? The rules don't explain what to do in that situation. It definitely explains what to do if you hire more. than this distribution, but it doesn't explain what to do with less. Now, again, I have the first edition. Maybe the second edition explains it. So if that's the case, please very kindly let me know. But right now I went with 2 greens, 1 average, 1 skilled, and 1 veteran. I guess the other way you could look at it is the greens are the last ones you do. So you had to have 1 recruit and 1 of these, and then anything else is green. You could look at it that way, and I don't see any harm in that. Obviously, since I'm doing all the variants that are hurting me, I went with the one interpretation that helped me. Okay, so I'm going to put this camera on my table here. Hopefully it's nice and stable. Okay, so let me show you real quick. The first one I did is I hired 1 Mustang, the 359th, and they are my green. So even at green level, he has a +5 air-to-air, and he starts with Anderson, who's the Out of the Sun. And Out of the Sun, let me find, Out of the Sun gives +3 air-to-air. So +3 air-to-air, +5, that's a +8, folks, at green level. That's insane. These Mustangs are awesome little planes. So, so I think he's in fantastic shape with this leader, and I didn't feel I needed to promote him. So I started him at the lowest level possible. And if I had to pick a recruit, like if we end up finding out that I'm supposed to do a recruit, it'll be this guy. Because even at the recruit level, it's only 3 experience points to get to green, and he starts with a +4, so I lose a whole 1 point. So I like this guy. I like him a lot. I like Pizza Steve. So we're in great shape with him. Name that movie. I like Pizza Steve. I think that should be a popular enough movie that people know what that one is. That movie cracks me up, by the way. It's one of the funniest movies I think I've ever seen. Okay, what are these? Those should be in the bin. Okay, next one is Sad Sack. And he is a sad sack because he's green as well. He's my other lowest promoted one. And I picked him to be the green one because he has no penalty. All the other ones had an air-to-ground penalty at green. This is my first B-24, by the way. And so he is going to be in a bomber wing with our Super Fortress. Now, the Super Fortress, I spent 6 points. So when I told you I spent 29 points on the Super Fortress, it was 22 here plus 6 there. Actually, I'm bad at math. That's 28, not 29. Let me make sure I wrote it down. Oh no, I wrote down 28. Never mind. I think it's because it's a B29. That's where I'm getting confused. Okay, so he's already a veteran. I made him the highest promoted one. He's a veteran, and look at this. He has a +2 air to ground. He has another +2 air to ground for a +4 on day 1. And then he has concentrate fire and good aim, so he has +3 air to air, in addition to his +5 air to air. So this guy is as good at fighting bandits as our Mustang. So this guy is going to go out and he's going to take out the world by storm. Okay, so this is also where our individual bomber variant is going to be. We are one of the groups in there. And what I did was, since he's the most promoted pilot, I put him with the least promoted group. So, so we got the master and the apprentice together. Okay, and then the other two, one's average and the other's skilled. These are both B-24s. This one has a +0 and a +4. He's average. I chose this one to be average because even his skilled stats are still +0, +4. So he's going to be at those stats for a very long time. The next one is Bomb Totin' Mama. And this one's our skilled, and it's going to start with a +1. And the B-24s, of course, have a very high tonnage of 8. So they can carry a lot of bombs, is what I'm getting at. And like I said, we got the 2 Gucci Recons. Now, I could have gotten the less than Gucci Recons and spent 8 points less. 8 points is a lot of points. But I found that when I did that the last campaign, I just desperately wanted the upgraded version. So the upgraded version cost me the full points. It wasn't like I could just spend an upgrade cost. So I went for the gold right away. Okay, so that's all my planes. And then the last thing to talk about is our individual bomber. So we have named our plane. Hitler has only got one ball, and Himmler's is very small, and Goering is just 2 feet tall. I can't remember how the rest of it goes, and I probably butchered that much. Okay, it's piloted by Jeff. Dean is going to be my co-pilot. He's been doing an awesome job at helping me with these videos. Andrew has been upgraded to navigator, and Kevin Verson's our bombardier, and Dan Verson's our engineer. Chuck Norris is our radio operator. John McLean is the ball gunner. John Spartan, who's been fined 50 credits, is our port waist gunner. Corbin Dallas is our starboard waist gunner, and John Rambo is our tail gunner. And do you notice that all of the action heroes have the name John? I'm just noticing the connection there. So name those movies: John McClane, John Spartan, Corbin Dallas, and John Rambo. Some of these should be really easy for you. From my perspective, they should all be quite easy. But you would have to watch the typical kind of movies that I like to watch, obviously, to get them. So there you go. There's some movie trivia for you. I will also give a hint, although you don't need a hint for these. 2 of those movie characters are the same actor. So it would be really difficult for him to be with us on that plane, because that particular actor has to play 2 different roles. Actually, another 2 is also the same actor. I didn't even realize I did that. I meant to, instead of John Rambo, I wanted to do Total Recall. But what's his name in Total Recall? I didn't want to look it up on the internet and make myself look smarter than I am, but I can't remember his name. I remember all kinds of quotes from that, but I can't remember his name. So anyways, I think he had 2 names. He had obviously the name from when his mind was wiped, and then there was the name from when he was the secret agent, type person. I think that's why I'm so confused on it. I'm really not good at remembering names. If I ever met any of you in person, I would forget your name a week later. The last thing I did is right up there in October is the 55th Fighter Group. That is demonstrating when we're going to get the technology. We're going to unlock the Shooting Star pilot. So we will have jet fighters that we can add to our arsenal. So we're going to gear up for that. This particular variant is real easy to set up. We just take our Bandit cup and throw them all in, and make sure they actually go in the cup. And then, of course, shake them up. In case you were wondering, it is we put in 3 veterans and 4 novice. So 7 total unique planes got added. 3 veteran, 4 novice. Okay, and then the subs. There are only 2 of them, and they will cost us 2 points each if they make it into the game. Now, I want to stress, I left 8 SO points left over. That is to help cover the cost of the subs. Okay, so once we know how much we're spending on the subs, when we move to the first week, we will obviously get our weekly SO points. I will use them to buy some bombers. And then once I know how much we have to spend on the subs, I will then buy some more commanders, because that's the plan. I need to get commanders still. So I'm going to buy 2 bombers and then some commanders. All right, so let's roll. If it's a 5 or higher, they're going to make it into the game. It doesn't matter which die is which. And I rolled a 10 and a 5, so they're both coming into the game. We have 2 U-boats, 2 Utes right there. Okay. Next, we need to roll to get all these Luftwaffe squadrons in. Somebody pointed out that in the last campaign, I rolled exactly something like this, and I put it on a 5. I treated this like a 0. That's my bad if I did that. That's supposed to be 15. That sounds like absolutely something I would do. Okay, so let's roll real quick here. That's a 12. 15. 13. 16. That's Berlin. 7. I'm going to keep rolling over here. 5. 7. It's funny, I own multiple dice towers and I never use them. They always get in the way. Okay, that's 20. That's an odd one to get. 18. Another difficult one to get. Those are way down in Czechoslovakia there. 15. 9. 8. 6. 11, which I think is there. Yep. Okay, so here's a key thing. The rule says that when the ETO theater advances, everything behind it gets eliminated from a Luftwaffe squadron perspective. So right now, nobody advanced, so nothing's getting eliminated. So I'm leaving all the squadrons out. But if this ever were to advance to the 9, what does, quote, behind it mean? The rules doesn't explain that. And so I've always interpreted it as I'm looking at these hexes in a vertical line, and anything behind it is left. So that would mean that this one, and these two are going to be destroyed the moment that the front moves here. And then the moment I move here, then this is the new line, and so then 11 and 9 would be destroyed along with anything behind it. That's how I'm going to play this game. Now, the next thing that the rules don't explain is, as you can see, we have a crap ton of supply. So that means it's going to make a giant stack of Luftwaffe squadrons next month, right? So at the end of the month, we're going to put new squadrons out. Well, what do I do if I roll a number for a location that that's already behind the army? I'm going to assume that I can't place a squadron there because Germany no longer controls that territory. So then what do? Do I re-roll? Or do I just lose it, right? It just, because I rolled behind the line, it's automatically removed. I'm asking this question now because if Dean is still watching, that would actually be very nice of him to watch a second campaign. But I may, because I do have the ability to contact him directly, I may ask him, what do I do in that situation? Again, if this is covered in the second edition rulebook, please let me know. But right now, my decision is, because I like to declare things before it actually happens, so that way it doesn't look like I'm gaming the system in my favor. I'm very tempted to say that if I roll something that is behind the lines, it gets destroyed. But right now, I think I'm going to land on that we're just going to pile a crap ton of Luftwaffe squadrons on that side of the line. It feels like the game would get extremely out of balance, because if you look at this, look at all this supply here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 14, 16. Let's say I'm producing 19 of these, right? I'm going to have a big stack of 19. And let's say that our ETO theater is there. That means I'm putting 19 of them in these little squadrons here. That doesn't seem fair at all. Why would their supply be so strong there? So the next thing that crossed my mind is that these factories that are up there are going to have locations. So if there's a factory located in square 7, it's going to be destroyed too. So if I move here and it's behind me, I'm going to destroy the factory. And so that means this supply is going to dwindle. And that is not in the rules, but to me it should be. And so I'm going to once again talk to Dean about that, because it doesn't make sense that a factory that's located here on 7 is producing stuff that's going to go there when our line is already here. So that's the thing about this campaign. It creates these little wrinkles that none of the other campaigns has to deal with or contend with. And so you have to make some executive decisions on this. Obviously, I have the bat phone, and I'll use it because we're not going to run into this scenario right away, especially not tonight. I'm only going to probably have time to do 1 week before I have to hit the hay and get back to work tomorrow. I know I spent 25 minutes setting this up, and some of you are eager to just get going, so let's do that. But I like to, just like, because maybe I'm a referee for some kids' athletics, I make sure the teams know the rules and what I'm going to tolerate and what I'm not going to tolerate before that whistle blows. So that's what I'm doing here, and thank you for your patience. Okay, so let's get started. Week 1. The first thing that happens is we're going to get 28 SO points, but we're going to lose 4. So we're only going to get 24. So I'm getting out my sheet, and off camera here, I'm writing down 24 plus the 8 that carried over. So that means we have 32. Okay, so we have 32. And so that means we're going to get to buy 2 bombers. And just as a quick reminder, new B17 groups are going to cost 4 less. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to buy bombers that are going to come in green, according to the campaign sheet, at 4 less. But I'm going to pay the 4 points to make them go up to average. So we won't have to come in green. So I'm going to take a quick look at these and see if there's any that's jumping out at me. And what I'm looking for are the bombers that have repair or replenish on them, because the replenished bombers are best. And it's turning out a lot of them do, so we got a lot of good choices. Oh yeah, a crap ton of them do. So we have a lot of wonderful choices here. So then it just becomes okay, I don't want to spend any more time on this. I'm going to get Bloody 100th. No, Bloody 100th is really good at air-to-air. Flak Happy. How can you not hire someone named Flak Happy? Although he's good at air-to-air. I'm looking for some that are good at air-to-ground, and they seem to be in short supply here. Here's Hopin is good at air-to-air. Blind Date. That's always a disaster. Blind Date actually is good at air-to-air. So here we go. That's the first one. We're going to do Blind Date. Air-to-ground is pretty decent on this one. You can see it starts to go up, and it has a repair bonus at some point. So Blind Date has been added to our pool. And Screwball sounds fun. Screwball has awful stats. Some of these guys have awful stats. I'm actually tempted to go get Paradise Lost. Okay, the next one we're going to get is Homesick Angel. And that one also starts with a +0. Okay, so now we got a bomber wing situation we have to solve. This is actually a very difficult problem. Obviously, I can only do 2 missions a week, so there's a temptation to have just 2 bomber wings. But I could have 3 bomber wings and then just put 2 bomber wings together for 1 mission, right? That's not a problem. So how much? I'm spending 28 SO points. So that means I have 4 left. So I can spend 4 on commanders. And I probably will do that. So I'm just going to write down the number 4 so I don't have to recalculate. And what are we going to do? So obviously we have our Gucci guy with our worst guy. And then we have 2 regulars over here. I think we're definitely going to put 1 with the regulars. So we have a bombing wing group of 3. No harm with that. And then this one, I think the temptation is to put it in with that. So then I have a group, 2 groups of 3. I don't see any harm in doing that right now. So here's my issue. The issue is the B-24s have a range of 8. The B-17s only have a range of 6. This one has a range of 10. So there's a part of me that wants to keep the B-24s together. These are 2 B-24s that would have a B-17 with them. That's great. But there's a part of me that says, you know what, I'm just going to move this one over. And that's what I think I will do. So I'll keep the B-24s as 1 wing, and then the B-17s as another. Even though this guy is sort of an odd man out, it's still going to be fine, I think. Okay, I do need to find their tokens, the 388th. It's 388 and 457. And there are a lot of tokens in this game, so I'll try to be as fast as I can. I found 457 almost right away. Looking for 388, and I found that one too. So well done there. Okay, so now we have 4 points to spend on commanders. I do have a list of commanders here that I want to get. This one has good aim and replenish. Remember, the flak is going to be bad in this game, so we can do some flak defense. And then let's not forget, we can also get jammers. The YB-40 is not that exciting. The drop tanks, apparently I don't even need them anymore according to the 2nd edition rules. You just go with 2 less weight points and you automatically get to fly further, and you don't even need a drop tank. The chin turrets are not going to be needed because all of our planes, if you'll notice, already has them. The chaff and the jammer are great, but these counter the German technology, which they haven't researched yet, so we don't need those yet. And then this one's going to counter weather, which is also something we would like to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with the commanders then. I only have 4 points, so I can't buy this one or this one. So we'll put him at the bottom. I am going to do an ASW mission from the start. So I could grab this and assign it to one of my B-24s so they can have some ASW skills. Once I destroy those 2 U-boats, they won't be doing ASW missions ever again unless some other German commander arrives. But I did find this to be interesting because that means they go slow and fast. So that means they get to attack the bandits before the bandits get to attack them. And so we want to pick somebody who's got some decent air-to-air. And right now, all 3 of the B-24s have excellent air-to-air. So I'm going to look real quick and see which ones have the best at the highest level. And it's looking like Bomb Toten Mama and Sad Sack are both pretty decent. So Sad Sack is going to get the Glansberg for 3 points. Now, I actually like these other ones much, much more. But because I'm doing ASW missions on week 1, I wanted to get it now. So Sad Sack can get a +2 air to ground. And so Sad Sack is going to go do an ASW mission during the first week. So that leaves us with a grand total of 1 SO point for the week. And 34 minutes in, we're going to finally get cracking here. So let's roll for weather. That's a 4, which turns into a 5. It's partly cloudy. Then zone 1 is a 6, partly cloudy. Zone 2, 7, partly cloudy. And zone 3 is a 4, partly cloudy. So the weather is base game. Now we get to do recon, which... Okay, how do I want to start this game? I think I want to look at targets that are close and are not going to involve a lot of Luftwaffe squadrons. So that's the first thing. So anything that has France, Belgium, Netherlands flags are probably going to be high value targets. And then I'm going to look for targets that have a high air-to-ground bonus. However, I do notice this one. There's a factory here, a German one. See, it's on hex 14 there, and I'm sorry it's shaking. It gives me an air-to-ground +2, and then see where it says reserve -1. What that means is that there's not going to be a reserve when we roll for where do the planes go. I don't know if that's good or bad for us. Actually, it's bad. That's why we want to destroy it, to get rid of that. I'm looking at other penalties, and I don't see any other penalties. Oh, right there, USSR, it's a -1 to its theater roll. And that's the only penalty we have. So we don't have to worry about that one until the end of the month. But here's the other thing. Hex 14, there is no Luftwaffe squadrons in the way. So if I take this path, Hex 14 is open. So that particular target is a little juicy. Now the other thing is I do not have the ability to destroy all the factories. So if I do week 1, week 2, week 3, I guess I could destroy all the factories in 3 weeks. But that would mean I'm only going after factories and nothing else the entire 3 weeks. So I think the better strategy is maybe take out the 4, the 3, and the 3 and leave the 2s behind. So the particular one I'm looking at there is one of the 2s. It's not one of the big ones. Of course, the juicy 4 is over Berlin, which is a very long range away. So that's some of the dilemma we have. I think what I want to do maybe is I think we want to clear out some Luftwaffe squadrons. So let's go after 2 airfields. Here's the other thing. I don't have any points for bombs. I got some bad news for you guys. This little strategy I keep showing you, Dean doesn't like it. He told me he thinks that I broke his system. He doesn't like the fact that I figured out that the zero-cost bombs work great on the airfields. And so then I use that to my advantage, right? He's going to put a stop to that in the next edition of this game. So enjoy it while it lasts, folks. He didn't explain to me how he's going to stop it. He did throw some ideas. But since it's not official, I'm going to go neener and keep doing it the way he designed it. Okay, so we have this one in France that has an air-to-ground +2. I like it. It's also in Hex 11, so it's really close. It's a range 1. And then we have one here in Hex 7, and then one in Hex 12. Hex 12 is not bad, so let's go for that one. It only allows 3 bombers to come after it anyways, which is good. Okay, so these are going to be the 2 targets, and I'll try to get in the habit of putting them over where they're supposed to be, and that's in the Target section. Target instead of Walmart. That's only going to make sense for those of you who shop in America. I'm sure there's no Target and Walmart in France. I'm not even sure if there's one in Canada, but I guess I'm not going to deliberate over that right now. These are the 2 airfields, this one being a range 1 and this one being a range 2. And it's very juicy because we're only flying to here and here. So we don't have a lot of high risk with Luftwaffe squadrons intercepting us. So, with that being said, Sad Sack is going to go attack some U-boats. So that means that my wing group over here is only going to consist of 2 planes. So that wing group that has the B-24s is going to go after 11 here, which is just 1 range over. So we're going to put them on the France target, and the escort is going to join them. So we're going to send our Mustang with them because they have no armor because they're B-24s, so they're pretty susceptible. So we'll send an escort with them. And then our Gucci Super Fortress, along with our 2 regular ones. And by the way, I think the Super Fortress by himself can take out a target. So if I didn't have wing groups, I would be sending these to the other mission. But I think this guy by himself can take out a target. I'm going to put them, since they're in a wing group, on 12. And they won't have an escort. Okay? So now which one am I going to do first? I think I'm going to do the one that has no escort first, because that's always the one that worries me the most. So we're going to go there, and then target. And so that would be the German one. Now, here's the thing. We don't get a -2 to our Luftwaffe roll anymore. So this roll is going to be very deadly for us, potentially. So we're equipping with nothing but the 0 bombs, which are these. I'm not going to bother putting them on the planes because they have nothing but these, and they're going to fill up their as much weight points as they can. So we're dropping everything we got on them. And yeah, like I said, there's no escort. So let's roll for, I'm just checking real quick. Oh, we're going to do recon. So let's recon these 2 targets. Red will be our first target, the target in 12, and the blue will be for this one. So I rolled a 5 and a 3. Looking at the recon here, the 5 is a medium, the 3 is going to be low. So that's actually going to hurt us. So the medium intel is going to go on the target that I think 1 plane alone is going to be able to destroy. And then the other one's going to be low intel, which is going to hurt us. So I rolled a 4. A lower number on low intel is good. So it's going to be -1 air to ground, +1 flak. So let me find. So it's going to have this combination. And there's nothing we can do about that. So we're just going to have to deal with the -1 air to ground, +1 flak. That hurts. See, again, the variant is already hurting us. Okay, so my most worrisome roll, the Luftwaffe response. Let's see what happens. Oh, I also want to point out that the commander has group attack. So what group attack means is that when bandits attack, if there is no fighter escort, all the bandits are going to swarm 1 bomber. They're not going to roll individually to decide which bomber they attack. They're all going to attack the same exact bomber. Doesn't matter how many. They get to break the rules. So anyways, I rolled a 5. That's a decent number. It's average. So the Luftwaffe response is average. So average meaning that only range 0 will attack and a max of 4 are going to attack. So the good news here is when we fly to here, nothing happens. And when we fly to here, we're only going to get attacked by this one. And then the way home is nothing. So we're going to get 1 bandit only, assuming that the event card doesn't change that. Just shuffling the event deck right now. So let's draw our event card before we move. And let's get this game going. 40 minutes in. Remove any tactics from 2 random groups. Okay, so I'm going to assume that it's random groups that are actually on this mission. So what that means is that our B17 isn't going to benefit from good aim or concentrate fire. They're the only ones that have tactics. So So these two are going to go away. Now, technically speaking, the chin turret upgrade is, I guess it's not a tactic. I'm shutting up. Okay, so let's draw our bandit, and if it does go after the B29, the B29 has lost its anti-air ability, so it's not going to be quite as good. Oh, and then the B29 is going to be the lead group. We have to determine that. So that's going to be our formation. Oh, and then for us, we have to roll for our, where are we going to be in the formation? So I rolled a 10. We have to subtract 2 because we're noobs, recruits. So that gets us to an 8, so we're going to be in the rear. We do start the game with 2 experience points, and so we would get 2 more. So I'll worry about that later. Being in the rear gets us 2 experience points. And then we can actually buy tactics that would give us evasion, concentrate, fire. It would cost us 5 experience points, but we have to at least be average to do that. So there's some cool stuff we get to do. Okay, being in the rear is actually good in this situation. And I drew my bandit, by the way. It is this one. So we are going to be fighting something. It's not a super tough bandit, but he can hit us pretty easily. And so let's roll to see who he's going to go after. I rolled a 10. So that means he's going after the 3rd bomber in the group, which is the 388. And the 388 is Blind Date. So Blind Date is the target. I just realized I didn't write them in. Blind Date is average. Homesick Angel is also average. Okay. So Blind Date is slow. His air-to-air is +3, so let's roll for the fighter. I rolled a 5. Okay. The fighter hits on a 5. However, Blind Date has 1 durability. So that 5 became a 4. So he missed, is the good news. So now we get to roll. That, I don't know what it is, a 6 or a 4. So let's roll again. I rolled a 6. Okay, so the 6 gets added to +3. So that's a 9, which is not enough to destroy it. However, he has a -1 here. So that 9 becomes a 10. So we actually did destroy this. That was very well done. I was not expecting to be able to do that so easily. So Blind Date gets an experience point right out of the chute for destroying a fighter or a bandit, and then we move up 1 on this track. And that was my plan, right? And if we can destroy this airfield, then that's even better. So we're over the airfield. The particular airfield we're over is this German one. And so we have medium intel on this one. And so we have to roll for flak. It's going to be 2 rolls. And the 2 rolls are going to be against each of our guys. And do not forget, they get to add +2 to all their rolls for the entire campaign. So this is going to be annoying, annoying, annoying. We're going to do red, white, and blue. In case you didn't watch my first campaign, red is always the leader, white is second, and blue is third. So we're going to do America colors, because I would roll my dice and then forget which one went to which plane. So red, white, and blue is just an easy thing to remember. So red, white, and blue, I have to roll twice. So I rolled bad, and pretty good. So this is a 10, that's a 10, and that's a 4. The 4 is definitely a miss. Now, all 3 bombers have a durability of 1, so they do get to subtract 1. So this becomes a 9 and a 9, which is 2 hits each. So Hog Wild and Homesick Angel are both going to take 2 hits. So done and done. Now, Hog Wild is our individual bomber. So now we got to go over here and see if it hit us. So what we do is we check this table right here. And you can see that table says if I get a 1 to 8, the flak damage did not hit us. And I got a 4. So we're good shape there. But we're not out of the woods. We don't have to roll again a second time. And by the way, I hope you're starting to realize that this guy is going to be pretty valuable in this campaign. I haven't bought him yet, but he's going to be valuable. All right, and this is a super nice number. That becomes a 3. This becomes a 5. That becomes a 5. That's 3 misses. No man complains about 3 misses. Okay, so we're good. This is a +2 because it's against a dispersed target. And then this is a +1. So we get a +3 to all of our rolls. Okay. We're going to start with Blind Date, who gets a +0. So we're going to get +3 to all of our rolls. He carries 6 tonnage, or 6 weight points is like how I like to put it. So that means he has 3 of these bombs. So we get +3. That is a fat miss. This is a 10, and that is a 9. Okay, so the 10 is 2 hits, and the 9 is 1 hit. So we got 3 hits on this guy. Where are you? 3 hits out of the 11 we need. So now we move to Homesick Angel. Again, we're rolling 3 dice. I got a 10. Homesick Angel has a +0. So that's a 7. That's a miss. And that's also a miss. So 2 more hits. We're up to 5. I'm getting a little nervous, actually. So now we're on to Hog Wild. Hog Wild is going to get to roll all 3 of these dice twice. He gets to roll 6 dice, basically. Hog Wild has a +2 on the card, and then a +2 here for a +4. And then this is +5, 6, 7. So he gets to add 7 to each of his dice, and he's going to get to roll 6 dice. This is what I'm telling you, folks. Hog Wild is going to go hog wild. Here we go, baby. This is how I play the game, baby. Doug, you can change the rules all you want. I'm still going to break your game. All right, so this is 10. That's 10. And that's 10. So 6 hits. That puts us to 11. Guess what? I still have 3 more dice to roll, and the target is destroyed. Sorry, I didn't mean to have the adult symbol there. We did it. So you change your rules, Dean. We're going to come back, and we're going to conquer. All right, so we destroyed our target. We get 3 victory points, which is a healthy victory point score. And we destroy a supply of 3, so that means this goes up 1, 2, 3, like so. So very happy. Excellent start to the game. But I was expecting that with this one. Our B29 Super Fortress is phenomenal. Okay, so let's roll or draw a card for the return trip. Reduce bandit interceptions by 1. That sounds like a great card, but no one's going to be intercepting us. And we come home with no escort on a very successful mission. Well done, team, on that one. Okay, so those 3 bombers are done. And from a victory point perspective, we have Blind Date with 2 more experience. Homesick Angel is going to start us off with 2. And then Hog Wild is going to get 2. And not to mention, we get 2. So we're going to have 4 experience points, but I'm going to spend them all right now. And the 4 experience points, I'm going to put 1 on our port and 1 on the starboard. So +1 to both. And we finished our first mission, so we get to cross off our first mission box. So we're on our way to becoming ace pilots here. So very exciting, folks. I'm very happy with that. But now we got to do the next one. So, for the next magic trick, we're going to have Jive Bomber. We're going to have an escort. Now, here's the other thing. We're in 1944, so we can actually do what's called a sweep escort. If we do a sweep escort, the range of the escort goes up by +2. So this is something interesting because now we can hire, I mean, you can have a Spitfire that now all of a sudden has 6 range, okay? The sweep would go here. And this is different and new from the 1942 campaign. You get to intercept half of the bandits up to 3 max. So you can put 3 bandits here, but the third one is only if you have a strength of 10 or more. Your air-to-air gets a +1 boost, and your range, of course, is +2, meaning you can fly further with the bombers. It's a pretty neat little tactic. The one thing you have to worry about is obviously out of the sun can hurt you, but this particular German commander doesn't use out of the sun. So the other thing is when we draw our engagement, we've been drawing, and like, for example, this one is a -1, right? That's if it's an escort. But now if it's using sweep, you got to use the sweep side. So the sweep side could be different. I don't know if they are always the same like this or not, but just letting you know that the sweep is a different thing. And so it's automatic in terms of being able to intercept the bandits. It's meant to be that you're flying ahead and sweeping the skies before the other bombers ever show up. So it's a part of, I mean, it doesn't play from a game perspective any differently, but that's what it's representing tactics-wise. And of course, they get the air-to-air bonus. These two do not get an air-to-air bonus. In fact, this one gets an air-to-air penalty, but just on the first attack. But you get to choose, you know, who you're intercepting, and then this one's immune to out of the sun tactic. If you remember in the first campaign, the German commander had the out of the sun ability. Since this one doesn't, even if the plane says out of the sun on it, it won't happen. So the planes only use the ability if the German commander uses it. So sweep is actually a really good option. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to sweep with my fighter. And then the 2 bombers that are going to go along are going to be, here's the lead group, and then there's the trailing group. And you might be wondering, where's the third one? The third one's going to do the ASW mission, Sad Sack. He is a sad sack indeed. And so it's just off the camera here, but he's going to fly and do that. And we resolved that last. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Okay. Thank you. I know some of you said bless you, so thank you. Okay, so now we're going to roll for the Luftwaffe response, and let's see what happens here. Our pathway, by the way, is simple. Thank you again. So we're just going 1 space. That's it. Bing. So Luftwaffe response is a 5. So we got lucky again. It's going to be an average response, and only this one's going to respond, so we're just going to get one bandit. Okay, so let's draw our card. Reduce the response by 1 level. Ooh, that's a good card. It would have been nice if we had a higher Luftwaffe response, but now it's poor. It doesn't matter. We're still going to just get 1 bandit. This is going to be complete overkill in my mind, but let's do it. All right, the 1 bandit we get is this guy. Now, he does a front attack, but the German commander doesn't support that. So he will fight for 2 rounds, and we will put him here. He's going mano a mano against our bandit, or against our fighter. We have slow fighter, so he's going to get to go first. He rolls a 5. It's a miss. He needed a 7. I don't know how easy that number is for you to see. Then we roll a 9, and we get +8 to our roll. So this fighter was obliterated twice in this dimension and in 10 other parallel dimensions. That was just such a high roll. So our Mustang gets a victory point, And we move up and we get to remove a counter. So this is an interesting decision, but I think what I'm going to do is I got to look at where all of our targets are. I see some in 3, 15. I can't read that far. My eyes are bad this late at night. 18 and 16. So there's a lot of them deep in the heart of Germany. The skies at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Germany. Okay, we're gonna destroy this one. Okay, so we have done everything we need to do. We are over target. So now we got to deal with the flak. The flak is going to be the issue till the end of time. So here we're going to only do red and white. And the flak roll is just one roll. So that's a 9. And that's an 8. We don't get to reduce it by anything. So this is 2 hits. And that's 1 hit. So just looking real quick, Jive Bomber took 2 hits. And Bomb Toten Mama took 1. 2 hits and 1 hit is not a big deal, but the fact that this flak is so much more deadly, that damage is going to add up over the course of a month. And then at the end of the month, you get your replacements, and we're going to have way more damage than replacement points. So I am very concerned about that. But there's not much I can do. I have to just take it. Okay, so looking at this, the flak gets a +1. So it's actually 3 hits and 2 hits. So I got to change this. Because of the low intel, they got +1 flak. That hurts. And they're going to get -1 air to ground. So we get +2 because of the card. The card gives +2. This gives -1. So for a net of +1. That's it. Okay, we're only going to get a +1 to our rolls. Bomb Toten Mama gets another +1. Everybody else is getting nothing. So this is going to be a very difficult roll. Now we do get to roll 4 dice because they carry more tonnage. Never mind. Hold on. We get +2 because of this. So that's 2, and then 1 here for 3. So +3 on this one. This is Jive Bomber. He's going to get a +3 to all 4 dice. That's a 10. That's a 9. That's an 8, and that's a 10. So 2, 4, 5, 6 hits. I'm very pleased with that outcome. That was darn good. We need 14 though. So as much as I'm pleased, now 2. I said +3, right? Bomb Toten Mama is going to get a +4 to all 4 dice. So that's an 8. That's a reroll. This is nothing, and that's a 10. That's a 9. So these are both 1 hit, and that's 2. So 2, 3, 4 more hits puts it to 10. 10 hits is not going to be enough to destroy it. So we didn't do quite as well. Now remember, we only had 2 bombers on this one. So I think if we had taken a 3rd bomber, that would have given us the last 4 hits. But it does become heavy damage. So it's a heavy. Now, the supply or anything doesn't get reduced in this situation. It just means the target's heavy damage, and the next time we go after it, we won't need to do much to destroy it. So that airfield is close to being destroyed, but not quite. So low intel on that one hurt us, I believe. I think we had 9 several times, which would have translated into extra hits. So last but not least, we're going to do an ASW mission with Sadsack, who I believe would have helped us on that last mission. The ASW mission is very simple. We just roll a die. We don't even have to fly to it. And we hit if we get a 7 or more. And we get to add our air to ground, which is 0. So, we do get to add +2 because of this. It gives us a +2. So we actually do get to add +2. So here we go. I rolled a 9, which does hit. So how many do I get to roll? Is it just one roll? I think it is. Oh, I don't do this that much. I did do this in the last mission, but it was at the beginning of the month. Yeah, it's just one roll, and we destroyed 1 sub. So there's still 1 sub left, but one of them is gone. We get 1 experience point for the mission and 1 for the sub, and that was confirmed by Dean. So we, if it's not in your rule book, definitely add it. So, oh, and then I forgot to return home on that last mission. So sorry. Perform formation check for all bombers, each movement. It doesn't matter. We're not being intercepted by anything, so nothing to worry about there. So we're home. Okay, let's do some experience points. Jive Bomber is going to get 1. The Mustang is going to get 1. And Bomb Totin' Mama will get 1. Then Sad Sack actually is going to get 2. And that wraps up week 1. We have 3 victory points for week 1. It's a slow start, but it's something. We are going to get 28 SO points. I think we can slow down and not buy 2 bombers like we did last time. We can maybe just buy 1 bomber a week. And I would like to get to a point where we have a healthy number of bombers. And then we'll buy commanders. And we definitely need to start saving SO points so we can start buying better bombs and go after some real targets and win this war. So the vehicle factories are something I want to start taking out early. I want to take out some of these supply factories. And I think for a start to the game, we had a decent one. We already destroyed a target on week 1 with these B-24s. I may actually buy another B-24. I know I don't get a discount for them. And I know that whatever next B-24 I buy is not going to be one of these 1943 versions. But there's really statistically no difference between the 43 version versus the 42 version, other than the chin turret upgrade, which right now the German commander doesn't even attack from the front anyways. So I might do that just so I can have all B-24s together. I am tempted to put Hog Wild with the B-24s because he has the long range like they do. But then I'm basically going to have a whole bomber wing that has all the bombs. And then the other B-17s are going to be stuck with just, 6 bomb points and not be as powerful. So, like I said, I don't like the wing groups. This variant is so constraining to me. I like the versatility of being able to just send bombers out on missions. But it's making it challenging, that's for certain. So I'll figure all that out next week. I know I'm an hour and 9 into this. So we did end the week. Anybody who has repair or replenish skill would replenish right now, but that is nobody. Almost every one of these planes has the ability once they level up, but none of these do. Now, I was tempted to put the replenish skill on Hog Wild here because Hog Wild does not have it. I went for the fact that he can obliterate targets. So he's going to be a bit of a glass cannon. He's already got 2 damage on him, and I can't repair it until the end of the month. So that is a problem. He's not going to get replenished skill. He's just awesome in every other way. Okay, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I probably won't get to record more until tomorrow night. I probably will get a lot done this weekend. Timing-wise, I'm trying to get done before Paradox comes out with their new Rome Imperium game. I do play some PC games, and I am very anxious to get on that. So I would like to get this campaign done before then, so I'm not feeling so distracted. And then, of course, Anno 1800 is coming out as well. So if you guys do some video gaming, those are 2 games that I'm actually very much looking forward to. Although the Anno games, I love the concept, but they require so many hours to play that as a single dad raising 2 kids and managing a career, I just never have the time to put that many hours in. But I do try to make the time, just like with these videos. So anyways, thank you for watching. Stay awesome. And sorry I got sidetracked here, and I didn't mean to. I think that was a great start to week 1, and we'll see you on week 2.